when they harvest, they're going to sell at the prevailing rate, not the middleman that's going to cheat them and turn around and make money. So our farmers continue to be poor farmers.
We're going to quick break, and when we come back, we're hearing more from my guests. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. And if you just joining us, you're watching Health and Wellness on television. And just before the break, my guest in the house is talking to us on nutrition, how important it is and how to remain healthy. And before me, I have items here. So my guest will go on to tell us some of the foods we need to consume to build our immune system.
Thank you.
So what do we have here?
Oh, good. We have a few other things that are locally produced here in Benue State that will help boost our immune system. I want us to know that even the nation has produced a document, Nigeria Food and Nutrition Response Plan for COVID-19 pandemic. So the whole nation knows they have a little problem, and we have to prepare how we're going to fight it. Just a recap. We're talking about focusing on zinc. And what does zinc do? Zinc helps to boost the immune system. Zinc is involved in catalytic activities of over 100 enzymes in the body. Little zinc. Zinc is a mineral. And it's a micronutrient. We don't need it in large quantities. But zinc, apart from how it boosts the immune system, it helps in DNA synthesis, protein synthesis, cell division. Zinc is very critical. That's why when they talk to women. Zinc is very critical. Also helps in protein synthesis, as I said, in wound healing. Doctors will tell you that zinc can help. So zinc is such an important nutrient, mineral in the body, and fortunately for us, the food that are high in zinc are available here locally. The highest content of zinc is oysters. I don't think there are any oysters in the river Benue. So beyond the oysters, we have milk products. Milk products are very good sources of zinc. We also have seeds and nuts. Okay. Almonds are very high in zinc. We have them here. Believe it or not, cashews. We have cashews locally. This is locally produced cashews, very high in zinc. We have all kinds of nuts, even okra. Okra has a good amount of zinc in it. Okay. The interesting thing is corn. This is corn. This is the yellow sweet one. It's also a good source of zinc. Garlic. Oh, my favorite. Garlic has zinc. The good thing is zinc is available in larger amounts in meats, red meat, beef. Okay. It's available in chicken. Also, they have zinc because it's fortified. Okay. But just to show that the locally produced foods that we have zinc in it. Zinc is in greens, spinach, green vegetables. Can't see this green? Sorry, it's green. And it's really available. Watermelon seeds. Okay. Yeah, very good source. The seeds. Don't throw away the seeds unless you want to save some to plant. Okay, very good source of zinc. And so these to make sure that our farmers have enough money to buy seeds, certified improved seeds, and tractors, the machinery to use on the farm, and then fertilizer. By the way, one of the best gifts but you consume that, but you don't have enough zinc. It'll be very difficult for the body to synthesize the protein. And so it's such an important mineral that we cannot stress enough of that. Now, again, we're talking about the immune system. I said that the viruses, the bacteria attacks the host, the body. Okay. And so the body has to be prepared to fight, okay? So, you either fight or you lose, right? So the body has to be prepared to fight. To fight, the body has to boost. And then, apart from the zinc, of course, your antioxidants, vitamin C. Limes are packed with vitamin C. Okay. High concentrates of vitamin C. Can't say it is green? Well, trust me, there are limes. And then oranges. Oranges, great source of vitamin C. But what is happening to our oranges here? They're going to waste. You see trailers and trailers that leave the state with oranges. They go and make orange juice, and then they sell it back to us at premium. This is, what's that? It's green. It's aloe vera.
Yeah, the aloe vera.
You find aloe vera in every, most medications. You find aloe vera in it. Even some makeup, some creams and things like that. That's from my own backyard. That's my own aloe vera. Okay. And so you have ginger, locally grown as well. The garlic is locally grown. So everything on this table, raisins. Can't forget about raisins. These are dried grapes called raisins. Great sources of iron. And so, don't forget the carrots.
Carrots.
Yeah. Carrots. Okay. Beta carotene, they call them. Great source of vitamin A. And so the antioxidants are really, really important. The key is that these nutrients work together. So when you're deficient in one, and then, like I said, if you're deficient in zinc, you can imagine what will happen. Zinc is the activity of 100 enzymes in the body. Okay. Zinc helps in protein synthesis, DNA synthesis, cell division. See, these are activities in the body that are very critical. So you say that, well, little zinc, yes. And it's locally available. If we eat our okra, corn is everywhere now. They're roasting and boiling, and they're selling. And what are these? Tomatoes. About prostate cancer and research. Don't believe me, don't Google it. Research shows that good consumption of lycopene helps to reduce the chances of getting prostate cancer. Okay. And that's for men to believe or not to believe. But and the tomatoes, again, locally produced, they're going to waste right now. Lots of tomatoes out there, lots of peppers, lots of corn, okay, lots of ginger. Oh, turmeric. Have you seen fresh turmeric before?
Oh, not really. I didn't see the powder.
This is fresh turmeric.
Okay.
Like fresh is always better because every time you process something, you lose something. And that's why there's fortification in processed food, but we have to process, because if we don't process, we can't add value. And so that's very important. Processing into powder, so increase the shelf life, because we don't have good storage for it. And so one of the things His Excellency Governor Otom has always told us to do, and continues to tell us to do, is to add value. If we don't add value by processing, by storing, transport infrastructure, if we don't do those things, then people will continue to truck things that are here and come back and sell it to us at premium, like they do orange juice and watermelon juice and all those things.
Okay, I'm talking about the COVID-19. There's been a lot of rumor, or rather stories going around that vitamin D has a role to play in the immune system. How true is that?
It is. Like I was saying, we were focusing on zinc because of, like I mentioned, what zinc does, the critical functions of zinc: DNA synthesis, protein synthesis. Now, protein helps to build the immune system as well. So you can imagine, if that's not synthesized, then we cannot build a strong immune system. But vitamin D, vitamin E as well, these are the micronutrients again. And that's why they tell people to sit out in the sun. We're always running from the sun. We have the sun for a reason. And the best source of vitamin D is to be out there in the sun. What does vitamin D do? It strengthens your bones. It protects your body. It protects your skin. It strengthens the bones. And so a lot of times when you have, when you're in isolation, when you stay indoors for a period of time, the body loses some of the good nutrients that we get. And then also in the feeding of people when they're in isolation. And so that's why it's very important to make sure that you get some sunshine, and the body converts that into vitamin D and uses it to protect the body.
Okay, then for those that have been confirmed positive at the isolation center, when they've recovered, is one thing, like trying to adjust back into their normal life. What kind of food do you advise they take?
When they recover, they'll go back to ensuring that they're consuming adequate nutrients. We call it healthy eating. We call it balanced eating. It's balanced for different people for different reasons. When they get back to themselves, one of the things that we'll encourage them to do is to ensure physical activity. There are some people that are able to be physically active within the confines of, isolation, but that is if you're in one room by yourself. Okay. Otherwise, physical activity becomes very difficult. We encourage them to be physically active, because when they say use it or lose it, it applies to your muscle as well. And muscle is built because of protein. Protein becomes muscle, let me put it that way. And so when they come up, they need to get adequate protein. Where do they get that from? Protein from eggs, from fish, canned fish, fresh fish, beef, red meat, pork. Let's not forget pork. Pork is the we call it the white meat, is the other first meat, and chicken. Chicken, fish, those are good sources of protein. Okay. And the carbohydrates, they need to eat complex carbohydrates. We try to discourage simple carbohydrates because they break down quickly and they raise blood sugar. What are your simple carbohydrates? Your juices, your actual sugar that you add to tea and all that. The juices, the soft drinks, Coke, Coca-Cola, Fanta, and all of that. Those are simple sugars. And when you look at the source of these simple sugars, they don't give you anything but sugar.
Okay.
The complex carbohydrates, corn. Corn is a complex carbohydrate. It has the fiber in there, has the vitamins, the minerals, but it's complex. Now, the complex carbohydrates, they take a little longer to break down. The simple sugars break down very quickly. They give you a blood sugar spike. And research has shown that when that happens over and over and over, the body goes into what we call insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is when the body continually needs to produce insulin to utilize the sugar that continually spikes in the body. So when that happens, then the person becomes diabetic. when the body is resistant to insulin, it means it's not using the insulin to lower the blood sugar in the body. The person becomes diabetic. That becomes a whole different fight. And as you know, people who are diabetic, people who have high blood pressure, people who have asthma, people who have heart disease, chronic kidney disease, these are the people who are, these are the pre-existing conditions that makes it very difficult for them to fight COVID-19 and win. We lost a couple of doctors here that were diabetic. We lost one about 3 days ago. And so we're saying it, people think it's a joke, but it's not. Prevention is better than cure. And so prevention is eating healthy. Healthy eating, boosting the immune system is one of the ways of preventing, apart from social distancing, wearing a face mask, and all that good stuff. Getting tested.
Okay, then. A lot of persons say that eating high-fat food is unhealthy. Is it actually unhealthy?
It is.
Okay.
Because, like I said, the body knows how to store excessive consumption of anything, stores it as fat. And so if you eat excessive sugar from Coke, excessive juice, you can drink too much juice. You can eat too much fruit. When the body gets excessive amounts, it converts into fat and stores. What does the body do with excessive fat consumption? It stores as fat. And that is why we encourage people to eat a variety of foods. So what are the foods that are high in fat? Fat itself, oil, soybean oil, palm oil, that's a fat. Sesame oil, that makes oil out of this as well. Okay. It's fat. And so the serving sizes of fat are so small. The tablespoon is a serving of fat. When I was a little girl, our moms used to make soup. They'll cook like chicken and drop a tablespoon or two of. When you go now, you see soups and this oil everywhere. And it's very unhealthy, not just for the healthy person, but for diabetics. Okay. It's very important for diabetics to control how much, not just sugar, but the amount of fat that they eat. So apart from that, where else do you find fat? People's favorite, pork. Pork has fat, and so, but pork has the white meat, which is the lean meat. It's very good meat. Where else do you find fat? You find fat in the skins of meat. The skin of chicken is a fat. So if you, to tell people not to eat the skin of chicken, but that's where the fat is. If you need to cut back on fat consumption, less of the skins of food. The skin of any meat product is a fat. Chicken, skin of beef, skin of pork, skin of any animal product is a fat. So you can eat the lean part and cut back on the fat consumption because, again, the body will store it. And so when you combine actual fat consumption with sugar consumption, you can see how it's very easy for a lot of people to gain weight. There are some good fats because omega-3 is a fat. It's omega-3 fatty acid. It's a good fat. It helps to protect the heart. And that's where, the sardines come in. It's a very good source of omega-3. There's omega-3 in eggs as well. There's omega-3 in fatty fish. Unfortunately, the fish, the smoked one, like the women carry on their heads and sell around, has almost zero omega-3. Why? It's a fat, so when you process the fish, when you smoke it or you dry it, it loses all the omega-3 that is in it. Okay. But fresh fish has omega-3 fatty acids. And then flax seed, a lot of seeds have omega-3 in it. Flax seed has omega-3. And so nuts, have some omega-3 in it as well. But the best source of omega-3, believe it or not, fish. Not the brand, but sardines, mackerel, fresh fish out there. Some people like to eat catfish. The fatty fish is the one that has a higher amount of omega-3 because it's a fatty acid. Yeah.
Okay, then. So you said for the smoked fish, all the fats are out, and the dried fish. What then does it give in the body for the dried fish?
Well, it has some protein.
Okay.
You know, it has some protein in it. What fish? Fish is part of the protein family. Fish, chicken, beef, pork, eggs, milk products, cheese, and all. Those are good sources of protein. So it's part of the protein family. Some protein from there. One of the best nutrients, I would say, when you get from fish, would be that omega-3 fatty acid, because it's been proven. You can Google it and get it. It's very important for protecting the heart. And I brought this glass here. I didn't bring a glass, but red wine. But I brought the glass to also remind us that red wine also, it's a good source of the protection of the grapes, the red grapes. And that's why people continue to say, yes, we said that red wine is good for the heart. Not the whole bottle, just a glass or two, and a glass would be that much. 3 to 4 ounces is a serving of red wine. Not a whole bottle, not 2 bottles, like some people do sometimes.
Okay, then. And, I want to talk about the okra.
Yes.
The green. You know, like when you cook it after a while, the green goes.
Yes.
Does it still contain the nutrients in it? If maybe it's overcooked at that point.
That's, that would be another program.
Okay.
There's the micronutrients that are heat sensitive, like okra. A lot of these vegetables, when you eat them, they need to be crunchy when you're eating them.
Wow.
If they're literally just, you eat it and you swallow it, you're just eating it because it tastes good. The nutritional value, we can take food by food and do that. And so when you eat your okra, it shouldn't be dead. Don't eat dead food, because dead food, it's kind of like, you're chewing on something, it tastes good. But the cooking time for a lot of the vegetables is very important. We advise people to eat salads, fruit salads, vegetable salads, mixed fruits and vegetables. You can mix them and make a salad. But we have to be very careful because there's a lot of typhoid out there, and it's because the vegetables are being contaminated.
Okay.
Let me give you a good example. The people who, and it's great that people go around selling these things. You don't have to go to the market to buy them, like spinach, like even the limes, the eggplant, the garden, the okra. When you get home, the carrots, when you get home, please wash them thoroughly with water and salt. Okay? Some people use a vinegar. If you don't have the vinegar, use salt and water. That's what I do, thoroughly. Why? The people who are selling this, moving around, have you ever stopped to think where they use the restroom? They go in the bush. They use the restroom wherever they can. And are they carrying toilet paper with them? Not. And so these foods can easily get contaminated. A lot of times, the people who are selling them, they contaminate them. I'm not discouraging you from patronizing them. I'm just saying that let's be responsible. Once you buy it, wash it thoroughly with water and salt, so that you get rid of the impurities that are on it. And so that's why we encourage the use of salads, fruit salads, vegetable salads, because I talk about fiber, the 7th food group that a lot of times people don't talk about. Okay. You get better amount of fiber from fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, dried fruits like raisins, from nuts. Now, what's fiber? Fiber is the part of food that you consume. Your body doesn't absorb it, so you have to excrete it. And once you have to excrete it, it means that it helps you to be regular. You don't constipate. And so when you do that on a regular basis, it helps maintain your digestive system. But when you eat foods that are high in fiber, you need to drink water. because water helps you make sure that you're excreted. And so part of your what do you have there? That has eat a colored. Make sure that we're eating a variety of foods to build the immune system, to actually build a healthy body. Like the governor leads by example, we need to do that. And we must, to reduce the spread of COVID-19, we must social distance like we're doing here. We must wear the face mask. We must make sure that we use hand sanitizers. And the young people
program.
Thanks
really
for
do
having me.
Appreciate the information. And to my amazing viewers, thank you for staying with us. But this is all we can take on today's edition of the program. And until next week, I'll bring another interesting edition to you. Just like my guest said, you should eat healthy and live a healthy life. And until next time, I am Iwese Iyaku. Have a nice day.
Tomato. This one, if now you are possible, you want entice. Buy this tomato, it will sweet you one leg.
Thank you. Fine girl. Make it come next time, oh. Market women, una dey here. Now who won't be the next coronavirus victim?
Then make una carry body, put on top waiting NCDC and Presidential Task Force don't take concerning corona so that you no go get it.
Make you dey wear your face mask proper. No put am for chin. No dey carry body gum customer. Make you give am space. And make you dey wash your hands with soap and water properly. And make it be quick.
And the thing where they be say, if you did, your body do you diggy. Bokuma every smarty you don't do ho. Bokuma smarty you do and you can see you dey get headache. Or your body dey weak. Come on, banana leaf. Make you sharp carry your wire. Make you call Benue State COVID-19 helpline so that they go quite sharp help you.
Help yourself and make you help everybody stay safe.
No waste time. Call them because now who they alive, now in the sell market. For this matter, no deal.
This Ogbonge informate now from Benue Television.
Say the peace, say Corona na de for Benue State. Ida tell me say it don't come. Yawa, fellow Nigerians. I don't want to tell me something about something very important. Say they don't say mak I go church, kokuma I go enter max, kokuma I go inside markets, kokuma in a supermarket or office. You know mean say corona it don't come out from here. Make I tell you the truth. COVID-19 it just there for corner they look us. And now in fact the thing we're serious about the matter be say now me and you like this now they make it the thing they fit to transmit. It done the way it is 70% of people where the thing then catch they're not able to know, they don't know where it come from. I was telling the truth. But something good, there is hope. There is a hope for us, there is a hope for me, and there's a hope for you. That is, we follow the preventive measure. Therefore, if you will do this thing, make you pray as you the pray and you the worship God, make you pray, but you will still follow other reasons. Which is, first, you will maintain the chance where they say make you give you a neighbor. That is 2 meters of a social distance, and they make you try as much as possible. Anytime you therefore wear faithful flanter, wear your person mic. No put your person mic for here. No, never here. Nobody they carry umbrella half, make rain beat up. No, you go cover the full umbrella so that you go fetch the rain. And you see all these places, commando hand, and all these places where you know say 247, senti they touch on top of it, make you the disinfect it with disinfectants. Disinfectants. And if you don't do that one where you see say anybody either do one can make you stay for your house. If you see say you don't the person be careful. Where it no be, I know the level, make you carry your wire, they give the COVID-19 helpline for Benue so that they will come meet you really sharply. After you do that, my brother, you know say that time, matter go there all right for us. Save yourself from COVID-19. Make you fit to save your neighbor. This is a message from Benue Television.
Hello viewers, you're welcome to today's interesting episode of Woman Today. It is actually a wonderful program. I am your host today, Evangelist Mrs. Faith Okafor. This program is a very exciting one, and I hope as you are there, you will enjoy every bit of it. Woman Today is a program that is meant for womanhood, to tell us more about the issues that connect to women and everyone connected to her. It actually has a focus on the health of the woman, on her responsibility towards the family, her leadership responsibility, her sexism, everything about her, her fears, her challenges, and how to help this woman to be the better person God has created her to be. And we have a lot of things to discuss about women in this program. In today's program, we have a wonderful topic that will excite you and your family. You have a lot to learn. Just stay put with us. Hang on. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Welcome back to the show. Wow, we have beautiful guests in the house. So beautiful. She's so adorable. We are happy to have you today in this place. And the name of our guest is Mrs. Adana Nwokafo, the CEO, Mirrors and Wigs, Makurdi. Can you greet your audience?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today. You're welcome.
Same here. Thank you.
All right. Today we're going to be discussing on a very important topic that has to do with me and you, to do with our family, with everyone. And this topic is understanding child sexual abuse. Yes, sexual abuse is one of the language that everyone hears. And we've come to know that the whole society has been affected by this word, sexual abuse. We have realized that everyone has been a victim, both the men, the women, the male child, the female child, the youths. Last week on 6th of this month, precisely 2020, I read a news on Premium Times, and I heard that a girl of 12 years old was in her father's house. And the father just stepped out to go and get something from the street while the mother was in the car somewhere listening to a program like this. But I pray it will never be anybody's portion.
Amen, amen,
yes, nobody's child will be a victim after listening to this program.
Amen.
So the woman was there listening while the man stepped out to get something. On the man's way coming back, he realized that the child he left has been raped by a gang of men. And they raped this child almost to the point of death. You could see that this sexual abuse is all over the place. They're talking about the girl of the lady who was someone...
Undergraduate.
Yes, undergraduate. Raped right inside the church, and now she's late. So we see that this is what is happening to our society. We have this pandemic. It's a silent one. It's not pronounced like coronavirus that everyone has to be locked down. You are in your room, you cannot go out. But silently it's eating up the society. And today, we are talking about the one that affects women, because we discovered that the women are mostly the victim.
Yes.
Even the age. I heard a news over the Facebook the other time that a boy of 16 years raped a woman of 17 years. You could see that even a little child, a youth, a young lady, and married lady, even aged woman is also a victim. But today we'll be concentrating on the children. So please, can you give me a little clue of what child sexual abuse is? Because when they talk about sexual abuse, there is this thing that comes to our mind, to every layman's mind, about sexual abuse. There's this mindset we normally have. So I want to know whether it's correct. Please, can you throw more light on that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Child sexual abuse is a sexual activity, forceful sexual activity between a child and a person. Why I said a person is, it could be child to child, adult to child.
Right.
So when you hear about child sexual abuse, it doesn't really mean it must be an adult. Sometimes children in the house and all that do one or two things. So that is basically what child sexual abuse means. Now, this child sexual abuse, whenever they talk about sexual abuse, everybody says, rape. It's not all about rape.
It's actually the mindset.
Yes, that's the mindset. It has a lot of categories. Like, we normally break it down into two. We have the physical contact.
Okay.
We have the non-physical contact.
All right.
The physical contact is where rape comes in. Rape is just one of it.
Okay.
Then you get the fondling. Fondling means trying to touch, maybe when an uncle or, all this kind of touching a child's organ, like the breast, the genital organs and all that.
All right.
Then you have the kissing, forceful kissing. Like the one that was trending some days back on social media. It was very, very disgusting and unacceptable. Like an uncle deeply kissing a little girl. And I think they arrested him and he said they were bonding. I didn't just get it. it's crazy. How can you just, maybe a guy of 30 years is kissing a 5-year-old child deeply, as in I saw the picture, he was practically dragging the lower lip.
Wow.
So that is another form of sexual abuse.
Okay.
Then when it comes to, sometimes there's this, an uncle trying to carry a child on the lap, or an auntie trying to carry, this thing is a two-way thing,
Okay.
In as much as this rape thing is always like they say, man, sexual abuse and all that, it could be a lady and a little child that is a male. So I'm just saying, when I say person, I mean either of them.
Okay, it means that
yes,
a boy can be abused,
a girl can be abused. Yes, it's not.
Right.
When you hear sexual abuse, like it's just like maybe girls, but the boys too, they get their own cut from it.
All right.
So like carrying, I tell my daughters, I said, it's not everybody. Like basically an uncle, you say, my uncle carry on the lap and all that. That baby might just be sitting innocently on the uncle's lap, in quotes, on the uncle's lap, and not even thinking about anything negative. But this uncle is really enjoying himself.
Wow.
One day this child will say, what is this thing that each time this uncle carries me, he said, I'm even feeling something touching people's phone anyhow. Because an innocent uncle, in quotes, might just have his phone, he's putting a lot of pornographic things there and all that. And this child is like, uncle, do you have game? And the children of these days, they can check through a lot of things. You give them YouTube, they go to Google. You give them WhatsApp, they go to Facebook. They know everything. They take this phone and go through it. Before you know today, they're looking at cartoon. And something like, pictures, that's even true. Let me see the kind of pictures uncle is snapping. Mm-hmm. Then now, boom, they go to pictures and I see naked women on the phone and all that. Oh. When this child is looking at that thing, it might just look like, what is this? But the child might want to know, why is this uncle always having anything in his phone? Some is even video, they download all these pornographic videos, and the child might watch and watch. Uncle, give me your phone. Uncle is there doing his thing, he is not thinking anything negative. This child is watching and watching and watching. Maybe one day the child might just come up and say, uncle, this thing that is in your phone, innocently, it's not that he or she knows anything. This thing in your phone, uncle will be like, maybe by then Mr. Devil has landed on the uncle.
Uh-oh.
This it comes.
Yes.
Like, this one, this girl is asking me this kind of question. Come and touch this. This is that. Yes, or maybe when it's non-physical to when maybe he's dressing up and the child comes in, he'll be like, look at this. This is what this does. He's not actually touching the child, but emotionally and sexually he's abusing the child, because this is not the kind of thing that particular child should be looking at that time. And if the child is seeing this thing along the line, the child will want to go deeper into why this is dangling, this is hard, why is it like this, why is it like that, why is it like that, why is it like that. So when it comes to child sexual abuse, is very vast.
Wow.
That is why we really need to educate our children. If you check in the statistics I was taking, it's like 1 in 1 to 4 girls, at the age, when you say child, the child is someone from the age of 0 to 18 years.
Yes.
0 to 18 years is a child. From 18 years, no way, you're no longer a child. But from 0 to 18 years, you're a child. So when you check it, in 1 to 10 boys, 1 to 4 girls have these experiences at that age of 0 to 18 years.
Wow.
I was even surprised that the guys have it more, because they have it with aunties in the house, maybe house help and all that, trying to try it, maybe a house help that is in the house that you're trying to cage up. When the girl starts getting aroused, he'll just carry the boy, teach 1 or 2 things and all that. There was one experience somebody told me a long time ago, how she came back to the house to pick something she forgot in the house.
Oh, yeah.
The house help was inside. She now noticed that the children, then I think the son was like 4 years old, the daughter was like 6 years old. The daughter was touching the brother and all that, and she said she was shocked, but she really wanted to understand what it was. It wasn't like she wanted to watch it happen, but she wanted to know where it will land, so that she can say, I actually saw. When the girl now turned back and the boy wanted to start whatever the house girl was doing with her, the woman now scolded at the house girl, and like that, it was a very bad sight.
Wow.
But maybe because the way she handled it now, when the woman left she said by the time she came back the next day, the other 2 had gone to school. She had a little baby. The girl locked the gate, kept the baby outside the gate, and ran away. you know, on a normal day, you cannot see somebody trying to spoil your children and you will be mild with it. Normally, you're supposed to handle it with, but you know, as a mother, you want to go gaga. And this child will be like, this one, they will kill me today. She left the child outside and ran away. That one is by the way. So when it comes to this sexual abuse for children, we really need to caution our children. A lot of things leads to it. Some of them are not very exclusive. Like you say negligence by parents. It's in it, it's out of it. I'll give you my point. It's in it because sometimes some parents are very careless and all that. They don't put their eyes to children, especially when the home is broken home, maybe death of a mother early and all that, nobody to educate the child on what to do.
Okay.
But when I said it's not exclusive, it's like, let's say parental negligence.
Okay.
A mother is in the house, you have a baby, you don't have a help, you need to go out to do one or two things, you leave the child with the father, and by the time you're out and done, the man has raped the child.
Wow. Okay, come, let me cut it from you from here. I think you're trying to give us some things that could actually cause it.
Yes.
And you're telling us about the parental negligence towards their children.
Yes.
And I feel, apart from this, there are other ways which these children can be exposed to this kind of problem. What do you think could be some of these other causes, apart from parental negligence, that could be inclusive to be one of the causes of child sexual abuse?
Yes. Like I said, any point I'm giving is in and out of it.
Oh, yes.
Because every point has its own story.
Oh, yes.
Like I gave an example of a child and a parent. That one is not negligence. Is the father's of the child. So he can leave her child and go out to the father. Intentions. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's say there are other things that can lead to it. Now they can normally you can say maybe the way the child dresses, but when it comes to children, I don't want to talk about dressing because a child on Pampers, what has the child done?
Nothing.
Because a child that's on Pampers, is it the Pampers that offended, or is it the Pampers that seduced the man?
You can't really say.
Do you understand? Some people, there's a story I read one time, like a research that they did somewhere in America. They had a museum where they took clothes of children that were raped. And basically, all of them were dressed in decent clothes. Wow. That's why I say it's exclusive and sometimes it's in it. Because if you say the way they dress, sometimes people dress to attract. That is when it comes to older people. But a child, like a child wearing a bomb shot, and for me, child rape doesn't have any reason. Like, seriously.
All right. I could say the issue of dressing a child modestly may not really be from that 0 age.
Yes.
When a child starts to grow from, like some children, they have chubby bodies.
Yes. They mature on time.
They could be 5. Came and toasted me. Actually, I don't know anything apart from my mother and my sister that spoke to me a night before that time. My mother is this type of person that believe you are still a child, you need to grow before they talk to you. But that I don't know Holy Spirit that touched her. She spoke to me and told me things I need to do. My sister told me how to talk to a man when he talks to you. And the first person that ever approached me was somebody very, very big that could be almost the age of my father. And actually, if I was not spoken to, I may not really know what to do. Sometimes a child may be very small and look very mature. And somebody will see the child and start to approach the child. And looking at the child looks so sexy to his eye, but doesn't look sexy to you as a mother. So you just need to dress the child very, very decently to help the child. Okay, we'll be going on a very short break right now. I hope you're enjoying the section, and we'll be right in a moment. Thank you very much, and keep watching. You're welcome back to the discussion that we are having on understanding child sexual abuse. All right, we're going to continue with a topic, another point. What do you, that could be a sign you could see in a child that could make you suspect that this child has been abused sexually? Some signs you could look out for in children. And again, I want to ask again, whether is it only your child you should look out for this sign from, or are you supposed to check every child around you and be a caretaker as a mother, as a father, as an uncle, to be able to make sure that those children around you are not victim of this sexual abuse? What are the signs, ma'am?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Before I get to the sign, I forgot to tell you that 95% of rape cases, child abuse, is always from the people the children know. It's like 25% or like 10 or 15% that becomes like a stranger. It's like co-neighbors, people around you. It's just an everyday thing. Back to your question, like the signs, it's maybe when your child starts, going into a mood of like trying to stay on his or her own, being always moody, or maybe when your child sees a particular person and reacts with fear and fright, like anytime this person's name is mentioned, there's something like why you have to really look closely. Or maybe, sometimes they tell the child, your mommy will kill you. If you tell your mommy this, your mommy will say you are spoiled. So they find it even difficult to say it. So they die with whatever it is inside them.
And sometimes it's not even with the person, even you, as a mother, when you approach the child is shaking because
about the child. Yes, everything about the child. She might be thinking, is it possible that my mommy has noticed? If you look at her anyhow, she'll be agitated. Then sometimes some children that are very intelligent, you see them, they drop in their academics. Like it affects them, the way they think. You might just tell your child to do this, the person will go and do something else. When you see that your child is being maybe a little child is being overcautious of herself, even with the father, maybe normally the father will come and just say, my baby, hug and all that. But the child, because of the uncle has already told her that it's a bad thing that they are doing, even being free with the father, the child won't be free with the father, with the brothers and all that. So there are different signs, it depends. Some children just go into depression. Some children even work on what the person that abused them tells them. You don't do this, you don't do that. It just makes them not to be their self. So we parents will have to really look closely and understand, talk to our children. Because when you talk to your children, when those kind of things happen, they can even say, Mommy, do you know this is what happened? And I just said, or if they have the idea of it, when you come and they can tell you that this is what happened today. That means you have to start telling them, anybody that does this kind of thing to you and say, don't tell, please tell. You can scream. You can run, you can report. That's what we call the SRR. You scream or shout, you run, then report. Just that sometimes you don't even have the opportunity to do any of them. It depends on the situation or the condition that you are met in. You understand? Right. So we should try and educate our children. Because when you educate them, that is when these signs, they won't take it like it's something bad. Mommy has already told me that this happens and it has happened to me. Maybe I should just talk to mommy. But when you are harsh about it, like you're not even your children's friends, they know that anything mommy hears, you are gone. This kind of child will keep it, nobody to talk to. You don't once in a while tell your children about, from 2 years, I think it's right to even talk, from 2 years the child will not understand. But the knowledge of sex education should start from a very tender age. It's not that you're telling them what to do, but you're telling them the things that they're supposed to do, where people are not supposed to touch, what people are not supposed to. I have a friend that, if you say you are my wife to her child, in fact, he is as good as raping the child, because the woman will take it personal. You'll be asking, I just said it. You don't tell any of my child, you're my husband. So that my child will not start at this uncle is my husband. Then tomorrow when the uncle comes and say, you're my wife, hug me. You're my wife. Do you understand?
Yes.
She doesn't. I would say, she said no, she doesn't tolerate it. Her word is, is from club. They used to enter dance. Tomorrow now the uncle will come and say, husband and wife, your mommy, those kind of things. Now we should even learn to try and separate the room of the children at a certain age. Just that sometimes our economy will not let us. Maybe someone living in one room, you will not go and keep your child in your neighbor's house. What you do is you tell them to respect their privacies.
All right.
When your brother is dressing up, you give way. When your sister is dressing, you don't bat the same time. You just educate them on that.
Okay.
It will help us.
What do you really think that this child abusers tell those children that makes them most time when they are being abused, they find it very difficult to tell the adults around them? Does it really mean that all their parents are very harsh? Does it really mean that people around them are very harsh?
Yes.
What is actually the main thing that you feel they could have told these children that could make them keep it as a secret and they will be dying in silence?
Like I said, they can use words like, your mommy will kill you.
Okay.
Or if you tell your mommy, I will do this to you. Or if there's something that the uncle always likes giving them or buying for them, they say, if you tell your mommy, I will not do this for you. If you tell anybody about this thing, I will kill you. Or your mommy will hate you. If your mommy did this thing, she will hate you. She will not even take you as her child again. She will disown you. A lot of things. They tell them a lot of things. Oh. They even threaten them. Like maybe if there's somebody in the house, when the child wants to talk, the person will just be behind and just do eye for the baby and like, then, no, what's that? No, nothing. The baby is living permanently in fear. They tell them a lot of fearful things that will make them not to. That's why, sometimes they say, speak out, speak out. It's not as if this child does not want to speak out. But when the child remembers what this uncle has said, my mother will hate me, you now remember the kind of love that your parents love you. You say, I won't say, but that is not the best. The best thing is, if it happens, say it out. So that if it's like maybe it happens from fondling and all that, or trying to kiss you, that damage can be controlled. But when it happens and happens and happens, at the end of the day, one day somebody is raped and the person dies, and stories start coming out, it started 100 years ago, it's very pathetic.
Okay. All right. And the issue of what they tell these children, I think I've heard a story whereby someone cuts the child's hand after
like a blood
abusing,
covenant.
Yes, and now convince the child that as I lick your blood, if you dare speak out, you will die. And this child wants to speak out, remembering that she would die. She kept it a secret because it's a covenant, and which was a way they brainwashed the child. They have a lot of ways to make, and sometimes they don't tell them anything, but inside them they know it's a bad thing. That is why our parents need to help out. Whenever you suspect any sign, I think it's good we start with a quiet way. When I was small, I'm trying to share a life story. I was small. I was walking at the back corner, and one uncle in one building now signaled me and said I should come. I was around 7 years. Said I should come. I was afraid. My mind told me, my instinct told me that something wrong wants to happen to you. But I couldn't stop myself. I went. When I got to his place, he said, hey, he's having catarrh. Please, I should help him to go and buy drugs. I was afraid. God helping me. So I went to buy the drugs. I've never gone to buy drugs for anybody in my house. But that day I don't even know the name. I just told the patent owner, I want to buy cough drugs. Gave him the money the man gave me, and he gave me the drugs. So as I was coming back, nobody was in that compound. He was the one alone. So as I was coming, my mind was shaking. I was scared. So when I got to where he was sitting in the parlor, I gave him the drugs and he grabbed my hand. As he grabbed my hand, my body was just shaking because I was already feeling that something wrong was to happen to me. He said, what's your name? I said, my name is Amarachi. What is your father's name? My father's name. I was just talking. And as God may have it, my elder sister, the person reported to my elder sister that I saw your sister going to this compound and he entered these people's house. So she came to the back and started calling, Amara, where are you? Where are you? So when I heard my name, and I told him, my sister is calling me. So he now gradually left me. So I was afraid. He didn't do anything to me, but I knew my going to this place is not correct. And they will beat me for going. But I couldn't stop myself from going. So when I came out, I didn't see her again. And I ran to the backyard. I went and sat down. I was thinking, what will I tell her? Hey, she will tell my mother. My mother will beat me. Hey, why did I even go? I was thinking, what will I tell her? And then she came. She said, where were you? I said, no, I've been here. I've been sitting there. She says, the lie. Where did you go to? Tell me the truth. I said, is that uncle? He said I should go and buy drugs for you. What did he do to you? I said, nothing. So nobody believed me because the way they were asking me, I started with lie. So sometimes when you suspect any sign as a parent, don't rush the child. Do you know how my father got convinced that nothing happened to me? That night he now asked my mother was agitating. Everybody was in fear that something must have happened to me. So my father now asked them to calm down. He took me away from the house took me to his office and now sat me down and told me, if you tell me the truth, I will buy this for you. I will give you this. I will give you this. But just tell me this so that if there's anything that has happened, so that we can correct it immediately. And I told him nothing happened to me. See what happened. And actually, if there was anything that happened to me, I would have opened up to him.
Yes.
You see, sometimes the way you address these issues, when you see this sign and rush the child, the first thing that comes to the mind of the child is that, hey, they will beat me. I have taken a wrong step. They will kill me. The child will know that she or he has taken a wrong step. But the guilt now of what will happen to her or him at the end of the day by the parents will always make the child to keep quiet and start lying and keep it sealed. So we should help our children to be able to be open.
Yes.
In a way that when there's something like that happens to them, they'll be able to open up. All right, we'll be going on a very short break. I will be right in a moment. Please stay put. I hope you're enjoying the section. Thank you very much. Wow, come back. I hope you're enjoying every section. I hope you're learning a lot that will help you help your children, help people around you. You can see you are the watchdog over every child around you and everyone that you find around your surrounding. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the effect of this sexual abuse on our children and also how to help to curb it, even if for nothing, to minimal level, to make sure our children's future is not being abused. Okay, back to you, Ma. I want to ask you, what do you think could be the side effects of this sexual abuse on our children? Their today, their tomorrow, their future, even to the old age, their career, their personality, and so forth and so on. So what do you think could be the effect here?
Like, let me use a life example. Her husband, when she's her husband, she'll be angry. But to tell this man that this is what is wrong with me, she couldn't. She hated anything male around her. If it was possible, it was somebody that registered me. If it was possible, maybe a male child she even gives birth to, she might even hate the male child. She didn't want to have anything to do with any man.
That's a
like
very serious
marriage,
case.
she was like, my parents want me to get married, Abby. Now the man go hear him. I will get married, but it will just be like we're just there.
Let me answer the name.
Yes, let me just answer the missus. But whatever benefit of marriage, I'm not interested. Sometimes too, it could bring about making some like when it comes to guys, some of them will just turn to serial rapers. Because I had it and somebody did it with me, any woman that comes across me will suffer. Because they had it with me, anywhere they take me and I see anything on skirts. You know, this sexual abuse thing even happens among siblings.
Yes.
Cousins,
it's very, very common. Yes. Now,
cousins and family friends. Like, so for example, maybe there's a story I heard that this man was always around the house, brought to the house every time, uncle. So most times if the parents are traveling, like for 1 day or 2 days, they bring the uncle into the house and say, okay, come and stay with the children. But they didn't know that when the uncle had his own plans. So on that fateful day, took the little girl inside, tried to bring out his male. A little girl, that's why from 2 years old, you should make your children know their organs. This is my eye, this is my breast, this is my that. So that when anything happens, you tell them the ones that people are not supposed to touch. From 2 years old, you say, even if the baby is not talking, at least 2 years should know this is it, that is that. Then as a girl too, you allow the baby once in a while, maybe from 3 years or 4 years, to start washing herself, like washing her private part by herself, so that she knows that place is a very vital place. It's not where anybody can wash for her. It's either maybe the auntie bathing her or the mommy, or like that. So the effect on children, sometimes it makes them, maybe when they grow older, they won't have anything to do with any man. Then the men will now be, as in, they will turn to rapists. Anybody they see, whether it's a 1-year-old child, just because it's not as if they planned it as it's wickedness.
Yes.
It's possible it's like a seed sown into someone. So it will start maturing when the person remembers, like, this person did it to me. And you know, to abuse a child, maybe is a male or maybe an auntie in the house. So when you put that kind of person in a house, you know that you have opened a raping business for the person. If you know, with the grace of God and prayers, the person will just, yes, now, the person will just be raping and be going. Some people are, you know, that's why I said it's like a seed, it's a devil. Yes. He plants it into you, then you just, and you don't even know what you're doing. Yes. You just find that anytime they leave a little child around you, before you know it has happened, then after you'll be like, God, what happened? And the deed has already been done. Then you asked on how we can help. There's a saying in my place that...
And let's talk about about the effects. Yes, you talked about the psychological effect it has on people.
Psychological effect.
Sometimes it proceeds to their marriage.
Yes.
And sometimes it affects these children not to relate with their siblings well.
Yes.
How about some of them who feel so isolated, have this low self-esteem? I've heard stories about that some of those girls, they begin to feel very, very inferior. And some other people, I've heard of other stories that some children, as we talked about, some of them, the seed will be sown in them. That even at a tender age, after watching some of those pornographic films, they're already abused by watching it. So they want to experiment it by abusing another child around them, which means it can make a child to develop some kind of character that's...
Yes. There was one video, in fact, it's not everything on social media you watch.
Oh.
There's one that I think it's just 3 days ago, 3 children. One was like 11 years. The other one, I don't even know. I don't think the older person, only God knows what she has been watching. Or she just tried to experiment and say, okay, we have been watching this, or let us be watching and be doing what they are doing or something. Maybe they don't even know what they are doing. So she set the camera by herself, went to the bed, and it was just like a threesome, like one girl sleeping with 2 men. It was crazy, like a very little child. Those children, even when the other one was looking at the camera, the guy was practically smiling, like, you know, like they were doing drama, you know, this play drama, they used to pack sand and gongoni and all that.
Serious.
But I think they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were doing. And only God knows how the video went viral.
And this could have a lasting effect on them.
Yes. And, you know, the way the society is right now, this mind your business thing is even bringing a lot of problems. You might, you know, like you said, isolation. Somebody might want to be on her own. It's supposed that the parent didn't notice it. But there's somebody around that has noticed it. And you walk up to a woman like me and say, madam, sorry, I don't know if you have noticed. I beg. Why you come to my bed? Is your child? What are you looking for there? Looking at the child. Please leave my child for me. So sometimes people even notice things. They don't even know how to go and tell the parents. Some parents are very aggressive. They don't really listen. Sometimes even the children might have gone through these things. The uncle trying to, and they're trying to tell their mother that this is what uncle is doing. You know, maybe it's like a brother in the church. Yeah. The mother will say, what are you saying? This spirit-filled uncle that is speaking in tongues.
They don't believe their children.
Somebody told me a story that she had a help in the house. She didn't want to bring in any, because all her children are girls. So she didn't want to bring any kind of person to come and be taking the girl in lesson, because the girl is from the village. She didn't know how to speak English, but she needed her to improve so that her children too will have good sense of, you know. So she now looks for a lesson teacher, got one in the church, like, oh God, this guy, he's on fire, he's firebrand. Spirit speaks in tongues, he can kabash from morning till night. This one, rather than doing it, if there is no time for lesson, they'll be reading Bible. So she allowed the guy. When she comes back, she will notice that they've peeled Irish potato with eggs and all that. When she asks, the girl will say, auntie, these children can eat, oh. And she knows that her children, they don't even eat. She was like, thank God, though. That means I'll be going on so that my children will be eating. She didn't know that this guy, they will fry the potato and the egg and remove juice from the fridge and be enjoying themselves. She didn't know. After like some months, this girl got pregnant.
Oh my God.
Like, why is... Okay, the story actually came out when I went for something. I think it was a wedding in a church or something. So there was a little girl that was dressed, you know, she was just wearing a short skirt, very small girl. So the usher was now saying, that please, the mother of this girl should not dress this girl like this. He's going to seduce men. So that was what the woman told me. So I beg that, let them hear something, you know. This one is not about a person that is in the church that is ready to do anything, abuse a child, already has it in his mind. Even if like, let the child wear jalabi and come. She now started telling me this. So we was in church, we were in church, we went for a wedding. So that was how the girl got pregnant. She was saying, what is happening? Is it my husband?
Oh.
Is it my brother? Because she didn't even point finger. She didn't even think of how. Because if she's at home before the lesson, the prayer the woman used to pray, she would say, let me just go and sleep. This guy has brought salvation to my home. She didn't know that the guy brought disaster to her home.
Oh my God.
Before you know what's happening, this girl took in questions upon questions upon questions. At the end of the day, was this guy. What? The woman was like, it's not possible. So it even made her change the impression she had about somebody being born again.
Oh,
when you say go to church, she says all these church things that she doesn't want to hear because of experience.
Oh my God.
You know, you just trust anybody. The thing is very bad that nobody is to be trusted. Though. Nobody is to be trusted.
Yes.
Because you don't even know when it comes up. You don't know how it comes up.
I think I buy this idea from you. We shouldn't trust anybody around us completely.
Yes.
Sometimes even people trust their second husband and leave their daughters to their stepfather, and before you know it, these things happen. You can imagine this kind of trust on a brother, but this woman didn't know this brother is having an issue already. There are some people who are already having this issue. Maybe they were abused.
I said it's the devil deposit.
Yes.
Business.
Maybe they were abused and they could not open up to anyone, and they keep on struggling with this. They got born again, but they couldn't open up so that this issue be addressed.
Yes.
So whenever they find themselves isolated, they keep struggling, and if they could not overcome it, they become a victim of being an abuser of a child or anybody around them. So we have to be very, very careful. It has a lot of effects. It affects these children. Look at teenage pregnancy has manifested in the life of this child. They brought this person to teach the child to help the education, and now she has landed into...
And you don't even know if when they are doing it, the other little children are peeping up.
Yeah,
it can happen. In the worst case scenario, the other children might just be somewhere and be saying, this is what's happening in this house. So before you know, they are innocent. Maybe there's a baby brother or something, they want to practice it, and it's crazy. Oh. But I think in the whole thing, God should just help us.
All right. Then what do we do to help? Seeing the level and the danger of this child sexual abuse, it happens around us. It's everywhere. It's even around us, even in the church. It's everywhere, in the school. You don't even know who to trust anymore. Even the people you are living with, your relative, the siblings, because you don't know who has been affected, who could affect the other. Yes. So what do we do? What can we? What could be your suggestion? What could be your advice to the mothers, to the parents, everyone there, to help curb this child sexual abuse?
Thank you. Like I said there's a saying in my place that when a child grows, or a child, once he comes to the world, he's no longer somebody's child. He's everybody's child.
Okay.
When we say everybody's child, another mother could notice what the biological mother of the child didn't notice. This one goes out to our mothers. We should try, and when somebody, although there are some women that just want to come and say what they don't know.
Yes, it's very
But
true.
sometimes when somebody wants to say something about your child, don't hush at the person. Listen. Maybe there's some people that are very good at knowing. Those days some mothers will just see somebody and say, this person is pregnant.
Yes.
And maybe you have been living in the house with that person 1 month, 2 months, you didn't know. But there are people that eyes, they look and say, no, there's something wrong here. But if you're the kind of mother that anything they tell you, you want to attack the person, that person will say, please don't let me mind my business. And not doing well to the mother, but the main thing is affecting the child. Yes. Because if from day one, you listen to, this is your child, I don't understand the way the child is going on. Put your eye, you say, is it your child? If the child spoils, is it your child? No, the child will spoil for me. But you don't know when the child spoils, the child will now extend whatever the child is experiencing to other children, affecting the society at large.
Yes.
It will affect everybody. So when somebody says this, your child is this, even if it is false, listen, observe, be sure that, or maybe, I saw your child here. Don't say, is it your work? You will not go and say your house is to go and look for where people children are going. No. Find out what your child has gone there to do.
Yes.
Listen to this woman, especially that there's a serial raper around your area, and this child is always going there. But because you're a fighter, you're a lion, you don't want to listen to people. They will say, this one, leave her, let her be going. Maybe when the mother sees the result, and maybe the end is the girl will be raped, and somebody will die, or there'll be a problem somewhere. Okay. Do you understand? So we should try and listen, even to our children. You know, it's a little child can, like when I was saying that the little child was saying, I'm seeing my uncle's this, uncle brought out this, and you say, please close your mouth. What did uncle? You didn't see anything. When a child tells you strange things, listen, observe. Whenever a particular uncle is, you know, a child is very close to a particular uncle, they go out and all that, and in particular they say, follow Uncle A or follow Uncle B, and the child say, no, mommy, I don't want to. Follow him. Mommy, no, I don't. Just calm down and observe why that child is behaving like that. Or when this uncle that is a favorite uncle comes in, other children jump on him, and this particular one that is the uncle's bestie is now keeping herself like, you need to watch. Go and greet uncle now. No, mommy, uncle, welcome. You need to look at that child and go into it and know why is it that this girl is now shy of this uncle, this, that.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much for the points you've given. It's really very educative. Yes, and I think our parents should also educate their children. They should also learn what they need to teach their children.
Yes,
what they should need to teach them at every stage. Educate them. Pray for them.
That's the basic.
Teach the boys the moral.
Yes.
Tell them what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. I think it's going to help.
Teach them how to treat a lady.
Yes.
Whether it's their sister or not.
I think you've heard us. I hope you've enjoyed this section. I hope you have a lot that you've gotten from this section. I know you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a lot. You've gotten the knowledge you can impact to others that can help your life. Thank you very much for watching us. We want to see you same time next week and in the same station. You can watch us on the handle being displayed on the television. You can reach us. You can drop your comments. You can drop your questions. I will get back to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for enjoying this section. Thank you. Bye.
Hello and welcome to the news on Benue Television. My name is Japhet Kwahom. In the headlines, Benue State House of Assembly resumes to begin the third legislative session of the 9th Assembly. People's Democratic Party Governors Forum condemns the current profile of the country incurred by Progressive federal government. Plus, about 150 migrants police officers as they try to cross into Spain's Melilla enclave. After embarking on Arisas, the Benue State House of Assembly resumes to begin the legislative session of the 9th Assembly. The Speaker, Right Honorable Titus charges legislators to raise up for greater productivity and optimal performance. Here's the report.
We thank the Almighty God that He has put the issue of financial autonomy behind us. We also thank Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, and the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, JISUM, for their dogged fight, resilience and tenacity in seeing to it that democracy is entrenched in Nigeria. During this session, we shall try to make more legislation for Benue State. On this note, peace and reports committee submitted record time. We lost 5 days as a result of the strike, since we could not resume on the 3rd June 2021 as earlier scheduled. This leaves us 101 days for the third legislative session, meaning that we sit up in order not to violate 104 section 104 of the Constitution, where requires the House to sit for a minimum of 101 days in a session.
And thanks to the State House of Assembly for the resumption of Now, wife of the Benue State Governor, Dr. Mrs. Eunice Otom, charged mothers and caregivers in local government areas in the state to avail themselves so their children can benefit from the interventions provided by the child health in the state. She gave the charge during the flag of round of maternal newborn and Child Health Week MNCHN in Makwidi. Frank Alashima was there in this report.
The wife of the governor of Benue State, Dr. Mrs. Eunice Otom, has flagged off the first round of maternal, newborn and child health MNCHW held at Comprehensive Health Center. Dr. Otom, in her remarks, urges mothers and caregivers in the 23 local government areas of the state to embrace the campaign wholeheartedly and take their children to the various health facilities in order to benefit from those interventions.
And that is why this program is organized to emphasize the importance of the mother and the child continuously living healthy even before delivery of the child and after delivery of the child. We have our primary health care units across the 23 local governments. Even after the program, the target which are the pregnant mothers, the little babies under age 5 to age 5 can visit those places they are not able to partake in this week-long program to benefit interventions that have been provided for them.
Why speak? Stress the importance of the life of both mother and her unborn baby, encouraging them to do the needful, adding that those who have not been present at the event should also be informed.
Pregnant mothers are more vulnerable because you know that they are carrying another life in them. And so that's why it's very important that the mother is healthy and the child she's carrying is healthy. Whatever affects the mother would also affect the unborn child. And of course, we want our pregnant mothers to deliver safely. Their lives matter. The lives of the unborn children also matter. The life of everyone matters. So we must take this very important. For those that are not here, or those that may not be aware of such services which are free, we expect that the rest of us will spread the message across. We don't want to miss out on any child. This has been provided for the benefit of every child and every expectant mother.
The Executive Secretary, Benue State Primary Health Care Board, Dr. Bem Ageda, welcomes the wife of the governor and all present at the occasion as he states the essence.
Most of these benefits we already know. A healthy mother and a child is an indication of a healthy, growing state and nation. Let me use this opportunity to openly and loudly thank the government of His Excellency Samuel Otom, who is a first in many other things, for establishing and propping up the Benue State Primary Health Care Board and supporting the implementation of primary health care under one roof.
Interviews were also conducted with mothers at the venue.
When given, it prevents them from so many killer diseases, such like little bacteria that might threaten to harm them, that when they swallow or get infected with, they tend to purge, sick, mash it, or even rashes on their skin. But due to this intervention program, it helps them still medicine, help them stay fit.
With the facilities put in place, our mothers will ensure that adequate health care is received in order to prevent the many diseases harmful to them and their children. Frank Alanshma, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Thanks to Frank Alanshima for Benue Television there. Now, let's continue with more reports on the news. Benue State government has refuted reports credited to cattle breeders in Nasarawa State, accusing Benue State Governor Samuel Otom of sponsoring multiple attacks on them with 2 military aircrafts, which purportedly killed over 1,000 cows in Kiana and Doma local government areas of Nasarawa State. In a statement, the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Ngunana Dingi, described the allegations as unfounded and a plot by the pastoralists to cause friction between the Benue State Governor and his Nasarawa State counterpart, Engineer Abdullahi Sude. Mrs. Adingi stated that nothing can be farther from the truth, adding that the sad report is another propaganda crafted by armed Fulani headers to sustain their war of attrition and hatred. They have made their number one enemy. The headers had raised alarm that 1,000 of their cows were killed without any pictorial evidence to back their claim, and they went to agencies to guarantee the safety of law-abiding citizens. You're watching Benue Television News Live. Now, stay with us as we take a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you stories on the national scene.
Farm for Me as the #1 agri-tech company in Nigeria and the pioneers of contract farming in Nigeria. We also engage in farm equipment rental services. And how do we make our money? We make money from the 10% farm management fee per hectare and whatever is left after paying our clients their invested capital in profit. We also offer farm equipment rental services and agri-tech consulting services to state and federal government. For more inquiries and more details, log on to www.farmforme.com.nj. You can call 070 00 230 230 or visit any of our offices now shown on your screen.
You're still with us on Benue Television News. And now let's take a look at stories on the national scene. As the Islamic State of West African Province, ISWAP, has released a senior protection assistant with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, Abubakar Garba Idris Aloma, who was abducted on Maiduguri Damaturu Highway. Aloma was abducted precisely at 4 p.m. on 2nd January 2021. Way to Maiduguri, where he is based. Humanitarian sources told newsmen that Mr. Aloma, who is popularly known as Aloma, is at the moment undergoing medical and military check with troops of Operation Hardin Kai in Maiduguri before he would be released to his family. The source also revealed that a businessman, Moazu Bawa, who was also kidnapped on that same day, was also released along 8 other captives, all undergoing debriefing by the military. The Executive Director Network of Civil Society, Daba Shehu, who also confirmed the release, said he prayed for more captives to be released, just as he maintained that it is a cheering news. An activist for pensioners and expert on local government administration, Babangida Garba Gwandu, has asked the Kebbi State Governor, Senator Atiku Bagudu, and other state governors to grant full financial autonomy to the 21 local government areas in Kebbi State. Speaking at his residence Tuesday in Birinin, Kebbi, Gwandu attributed the visible underdevelopment being experienced in the state and the country at large to a lack of financial autonomy for local governments. According to him, as long as the strangulations of the 774 local governments continue, no meaningful achievement can be made. Gwandu joined the recent calls for financial autonomies to state legislators, local governments, and the judiciary urged Bagudu and other governors across the country to relinquish financial powers to local governments in order for them to bring dividends of democracy to the grassroots. Reacting to Kebbi government plan to offset some backlog of gratuities owed retirees, he said it was a ploy to stop their gathering at the Idil praying ground with the intentions to seek God's intervention over his continued refusal to pay retired civil servants their gratuities. He said that civil servants who retired in 2018 and 2019, 2020, and now 2021 are yet to receive a dime from the state government. As a result, many of them have died, while several others are down with stroke caused by frustration. He pointed out that downplaying the consequences of such attitudes of government is dangerous, as already government's inaction and carefree manners are fueling insecurity. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Governors Forum has condemned the current debt profile of the country put at 36 trillion naira incurred by the All Progressives Congress APC-led federal government. The forum expressed worry that the federal government is gradually plunging Nigeria into bankruptcy with excessive borrowing on frivolous items, adding that over 80% of the normal appropriation is being spent on debt servicing. In a communique issued at a meeting of the forum in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, the governors also accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the other revenue-generating agencies of the federal government of lack of transparency and accountability in the declaration of revenue proceeds. The meeting called on other agencies of government such as Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA), Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA), Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), Federal Inland Revenue Service, Customs and Excise, and similar organizations that are statutorily required to make contributions into the Federation account to do more. The PDP governors also expressed deep concerns on the operational system of methods of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. It viewed with regrets that the CBN is operating as an independent government within a government, which is a perversion of the autonomy of the bank. The governors restated the call for a review of the revenue allocation formula and urged the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to urgently send the revised revenue allocation formula to Mr. President for onward transmission to the National Assembly for enactment, so that more resources are made available to states and local governments where ordinary Nigerians reside. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and Ijaw leader Chief Edwin Clark have thwarted President Muhammadu Buhari's demand for the recovery of encroached grazing routes. The president, in an interview on Arise television, said he had directed the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami San, to dust off the First Republic Gazette on grazing routes. Soyinka, during an interview with newsmen, said Buhari's comments were disturbing and indicted that his administration has not gone beyond narrow-mindedness. He added that the president has no power or authority to impose open grazing on state governments, saying such illegal action, which is a breach of the 1999 Constitution, will not be accepted and will be legally resisted at all costs. Soyinka said any law banning open grazing by state government is not only legal and binding, but is unchallengeable and binding on any person or group of persons, including the president. You're watching us live on Benue Television News. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll bring you some stories on the international scene. Please don't go away.
As the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic comes stronger, with more people getting infected, with children inclusive.
Let's protect ourselves, families and loved ones. Let's keep our environment, states and the world safe from coronavirus by
1. Practicing good hygiene. Washing our hands frequently with soap under running water and the use of hand sanitizer.
2. Practice social distancing while at school. Stay out of groups. And where social distance can be achieved, use face masks or face shields.
3. Avoid touching surfaces. Cover nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing.
Let's stay safe and strong. Let's fight the virus together. Together we will beat COVID-19.
This message is powered by Benue Television.
You're still with us on Benue Television News, and now welcome to the stories on the international scene as Anglo-Swedish drug maker AstraZeneca AZNL said a study of its monoclonal antibody treatment AZD7442 did not meet the main goal of preventing symptomatic coronavirus in people recently exposed to the novel COVID-19. The company said the participants in the trial were unvaccinated adults older than 18 years with confirmed exposure to a person with the coronavirus within the past 8 days. The company reported that AZD7442 reduced the risk of developing symptomatic COVID-19 by 33% compared to a placebo, which was not statistically significant. AstraZeneca is also studying the treatment in a pre-exposed patients trial and for preventing more severe diseases. The monoclonal antibody therapy belongs to a class of drugs which mimic natural antibodies the body produces to fight off the infection. Officials have said 9 police have been injured when about 150 migrants tried to cross into Spain Melilla enclave early on Tuesday from neighboring Morocco in an attempt which was thwarted. In a statement, the Spanish government delegation in the enclave said the incident took place before dawn at around 5 a.m, although none of them got into Melilla. They tried to get in by running along the Dick Sul breakwater in Melilla, port that marks the frontier, but were stopped by Spanish police officers with help from their Moroccan counterparts. Ceuta and Melilla have Europe's only land border with Africa, making them a magnet for migrants desperate to escape grinding poverty and hunger. Last month, Spain was cut off guard when as many as 10,000 people surged into Ceuta as Moroccan border guards looked the other way. And now let's look at COVID-19 case updates. Reports reaching us from Benue Television indicates that as at 14th of June 2021, 12 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed across Nigeria, and total confirmed cases now 167,078, and discharged cases 163,469. Remember that Ogun, Port Harcourt, Lagos, and Kano State are leading with the highest number of infections across Nigeria. And now, very sadly, Nigeria has lost up to 2,117 lives since the wake of the global pandemic. Many thanks for following us on Benue Television News. And quickly in the headlines, Benue State House of Assembly resumes to begin the 3rd legislative session on the 9th Assembly. People's Democratic Party Governors Forum condemns the current debt profile of the country incurred by the All Progressives Congress-led federal government. And finally, we also reported on the international scene that about 150 migrants injured 9 police officers as they tried to cross into Spain's Melilla enclave. Thanks once again for being a part of Benue Television News this evening. My name is Japheth Kwahom. Goodbye for now. You can now stand by for the news translation in Tiv and Idoma respectively. Please don't go away.
msuna chi tu amti simavane ba asava safen tashano Benue television makudi manga kama wangu ne bemdo wadwa mlo he shawvane me e yan yodi kwenta u Benue yema yo ya ibiave nyora ves na ha he se munyambo na bihide kana hombe mashi be court mo be shiba woluto shwa yodi kwenta u Benue tati suba shino lamna ba bavlia kan ha je evihide na velu elen tomte u na ha ye ka ya velu kama yove ila ko don la ba ve temble sha kwa shon fotova am ze me temble en kuma jo kwenta o Benue atona zo manaka ha she table le ayodi i Benue chi shimana ha ye ve tom temble gba shima she kwa no foto van am ze me e kuma jo kwenta o Benue sha ha no kwa wan sa mo tom no foto na ka vo e ya ton do kan juma kela shon ya kan sangala ma ijo Benue ba e lu kan pam temble ma shin ze me kwa no temble yo ta open chi kwasi ya Yunus do o tomado kane che zambra ngo ma bla ba ne shamba ba kiriki kan ta open kan ene ba kinu ko ta ba na ha chi e we kyo wa temble wonen ha we shi ma hamba ya shi ba we man peyo she afato na bi wase ma shi solve temble ba yo frankla shi mo to ibiawe ne sha chiu ba television ya kan ha jone kwasi ya o gomno kwenta ubuna Yunus do o tom dom kana machine ye ne nzege ne o ton kwame sha lahadio ta chiu to ma we ha mashi lwe ku wante me ha chiu akuna ne ma be ba kirki bara kwe o kwaondo o Islam ba Yesu apply carves na ha higen ve due kwa wala ma kan ha be pass shun wel ton ve nzo tachi Abubakar Garba Idris Aloma o ya ko cha buna medigure o ya manda matura Aloma ikan ha ye ton ve nzo ta wonchi ma shi wel ton kan ta na jira kwa ve ko shi jo yira ye hadan kai cha medigure la chi ma shi la ve ya ba fili va koron shin yima hayana cha medigure binnin kebe bemba fere ma koron e ho anyi na yike wo sho mom ayanga ha kanyuma dubo hwa ma kyunuka mo kwala nkana ma du hedwa o baba shehu ya kan ha wona shiba nam sentemble unanga ha ye bakane mba ye ko wewe Abubakar Idris lakwa ondo ma kurave sha zum o passe avec ba velu yosho shive zaman a oren jom I ya velu temble kwayo iti am siza humbe dumu si hidekba suri ta hamen a bawe asa wasa entashano Benue television magudi ne washima avse poa
Itjaya shin tachi uruhane kwa fa sele se na hapa ange mbonyi ngombu ye kurane uva a chan tatai ishije platoka ma ilukene ngbenda iben ako angembo do sedigba ba hang usuru ke wan show par angembo temble angembo nyingo ambo ye corona ne kambo ta show zwan yove o na rwemi shinshio na ro de shinshio na ro yesen tuwa awe itjaya igbenda se kama se wa angembo yo kau pare ajile brayo ikoho heyo kau ona ve flefle shamgel matahupa kau ona vesha dachi ulune kwasha mitsemble kau chilin kwasha dwa mananga shiulu tehen shin yeseno manu masenjo ya kau chilin ikunisha dwa mananga hamashi ulujan en abekula yoreya aimbane angembo nyingombo ye kulona nembo hile muvasha kuha tave shana haya gba hange beje usuro ikyo wan chokran atine yangen msambo angembo ne tenta wase Lohona udue hen afishe tashanu Benue television makudi
sisu nda hidan kana humbe welu ongelin kwa tsembe shelu mfete shako mba denton ma ambla ba nanga shako hemen eni kan tawo Nigeria chi garaba gwando aka ha wona gonno kwenta u kebi atiku bagudo ma gonno ba kan kwenta ike Nigeria chi wekyo wa ma be tom tsembe onanga na ha be na tseneke utomnya hen eni ba kan tawo Nigeria shenu babangida garaba gwando laman amba bawle hen yana habirni kabia aka ha wona mamkana ka nebe ta u Nigeria fanto zona mzema igen tsemle ga mpanchi yaken velu enie e kai ifito na be teneke utom ya gala ve u fanto den tom tsemle ga aka ha wona mamkana ka fato bene zayona ya motu ta u Nigeria chi aye tom tsemle ma ninga ha e ba tom nanga shako we netindi ayodu a kiriki mana vesin chi ba tom unangan shako enie ma ba tom unangan shako ta unanja chi velo tsene ko nya shan haya mtse mun ba van tembele shabe klavreshe yin kuma to shintine ma o kana ba o kana haya be ba ka tseme kare su kuma to shintine kishi mana ka ha wono zaman woren tom ma ngwa shagba tom a ningan haya ma ele ka a tsembele kan ta unanja na hayo kwa shon unomba don ba welu o garin cha da assembly hene kwa bikan tawo Nigeria wolu shoyinka ma unshunuro hemno e pavni joken tawo Nigeria chi Edwin Clark video ko on hige ma kwa chusha bisha unshunuro hem tawo Nigeria Muhammadu Buhari shay arkan gbina hige na ha hire ma gbinda tenen a ile ma nave kwa yankan tawo Nigeria bika na ha kwa shun kasha assembly o hemataw Nigeria Muhammadu Buhari lamana a tashan o television o year rise la bika na ha unrotinde unshun o hemna fishenin ha kwa tindi kan taw Nigeria chi Abubakar Malami wa kai gbina assembly ma hire bu shi iso ajile ngise kumutu taw Nigeria yen ha zene a ile ina kwa yangan taw Nigeria even high kwa shunar mom kana ka fato bana zayo ruhna to frane ma basure ma u Nigeria ga kwa yangaje bikan high kai kwa una fato va abem ma nkweyo na to ta u Nigeria ma frane ma yangaje mechi sho lamna ba wale aka ha una shakwa shunu Buhari do mi hige ma lu una fato ngwa tindi ugumoti o penta ka Nigeria shahamunu gomna we do me higen ha tinu yange franu zene ile kan gbala ka yama yange krango ta kan kuma unanga na hayo yange atinde a gomna ba we ga chi shay atinde a ta u Nigeria a ya we so ki iva so akan nyome de bo mom de ro ta ma akuna nyegbe ko ta ka nye daga we so yin ka kan ha jimne mam kana ka a fato bana zayo karu hina to flan ba ka zane a ile we hiru we yo se basure dandanje iku yo kwa eva duwe she na yo kwa ka gan pa a nzula yo ko na fato wasan tsembele ya kuma to shintina masu ugon ba penta aiken ta u Nigeria chiu na na hai atindi shintin we hiken ye yange utene a ile kan gba la ya atie tsembele shai ita fe kwa tsembele humba tawo Nigeria kwa ilu ko hige klebe shame vele layo etu amigen silva ne ibawe sham zemono ange bonyingo ambu ye kurula ne yangem sambo ange kan tawo Nigeria shahamano o tolu basin chiku ehekweze yabka na hai ange bonse kan tawo Nigeria je kuma pokaro ha na ha gohochi ya fi na kahawis na hayo ba ngem bunkan tawo Nigeria kuma yenge dubu mom deru atrata dubu mom akunde ta ka tankol ha man akunde ta be ka neni ba huwa gambe ha chi wangem bun ya kan ha je kuma yenge je dubu dere mom akunde ta ka ta deru nyi ma akunde ta ka tankalo ye ba sa ku sha chi wangem bun ya afishina kavis na hanje vik mayang higenje to bohwa dere mom ma putan karuhana ha etian tv kashe bawo na pa silo cool se bawo asa hen tashano bono television hen iki okunu yone shanhaya mawangu ne bendo watam kana veneme shiyange kwela ba he shiene shimulu he shovane ba asa kanzoti machi shileo nilo shima wana visi silvane bawe kanzoti makbayo etiam eyanen do sapwe
do ma ngmaine alaja loto kala no bigela la ngmepo gigo mebe Benue television lo nia oina la lo ojo kalo ateche ari kabutu eji onmo omlenyo enelu inuine la ja Benue la munyo gayelu ho wa ku chipi ipegbehi wuklo lenchelu ho ochelu trefu yu inuine ya ja Benue la mulohi pigeri makodi Right Honorable Titus Uba. Okay, hosaje ku lache achoyine. Kuwano tachriku ku klolo ke yobualu hoa. Kuwa chiko yo mele abuwa ke owa ngom lenyolo hoa. Uwano yotutu ku klo ke maje. Kuwano le ikfola ku klo yuwa kuwa kege yo papa. Egene lu chikalu hoa. Ano ke oduwa abuwa ke hoa ngom lenyolo kwa kige yo onya yo igbomina Dr. Mrs. Ochene loke bi okalu awa o tokpo ka Benue television Franca Lanshima acho biobi lo yukli mabo lo mache ye lipachi ofiedu wa enone yewo yo Nigeria leke hiku North East achene le siku terrorist lokonu bekea aya na leke siku iswapa uwafu kwache leke fu oiche lolo kigaya uwafu aseta lenchelu huae ipigeri makodi lenchelamu ochene loke oyuklo ochene hilo oyuklom lo ojuji opiato hayewo gewo lo United Nation leke siku Abubakar Garba Idris Aloma leke fu ekoene loki honyi yao lipo lefo wene loke mu damatru New Maiduguri ekoloki ochenyo lenu lipo oicheye yeilo hoa leke fong mablo acho biobi au terrorist loha leke ayane leke siku iswapa wafo lo apleko jenne yufone yechepa yoicheye yeilo hoa waki oka koke tablo entelo hoa oke tablo lipachi blacho biobi acho yukli mabolo hoa anentelo hoa waki sota eke oka ku aloma leke seta lentelo hoa o hom lai choja eke hojiro ebokpe enu kene maku oke holoilohi lobo ekene ke fota kono kenyota apolenu eho kadu kada ochohalo ke ho oke wachene lo ke ho yobe lipigeri Maiduguri lablo lo aya okoka ye no ne ewo in Nigeria leke siku mwazu bawa leke ku le acho yukli mabolo haku le ko maduwa ekwo seta lenche ekwo futa lenche duwe ikioka ko mwazu lo hoa oke hegi ai choja eneleke bi onyo unechiwa oyaku anuke lojira anuke je ku iye bolo oloiloi lobe keneke fota kono kinyotu acholunu eke okadu ochene loke wo trefu yo opiato ha yo juju ya chene loke ta chela bo loke wi government ma leke siku civil society lo ha lo oke ho okoka yo enone yewe Nigeria lo ipigeri Maiduguri papa leke siku baba shehu loke wo trefu yo a ohoka keke sa facho ha tadu chelo ho ohoka kanuki osaje lachi obiobi lo a kwano tachriku keneke sa facho hatadu achene leke kwa ohoka kokalo ho olo hinehi ko waki ho yogwere egen leke ngmachel ho leke ho swata lenchel ho ochene loke jolly ne lefuku igement nenche yewe Nigeria la modudu loke uklo ya boy no leke gbo igbije lo ma loke tachela bo yeye leke siku Babangida Garba Gwandu loke hu ajeyu kebi lenchelo hoa oka koyo sajelu igbomina yo kebi kono ke tachriku kono ke lu ijeye fu achene loke yukloli igementi nenche yo ajeyu kebi le wake guklota mo eyelo eyeta eyene lugaye leke gbije lo emma oke osajelua kwanu ke tachriku ki gbomina loke wo Atiku Bagudu yaje yu kebilo wa kono tachriku kono ke ku igementi nenche loke bewo ofucheye lo haje yu kebilo wa ono ku aseta cheki je yo anu ke wa mu igementi ne hiyewe Nigeria kene ke ku aseta mu igementi atrepa yo aje yu kebi oya kene ke yu arema oya ko je gobunu kenyu ipoli dododo loke hu igementi nenche ofucheye loke haje yu kebi lo holo lo ha oho kela lo lenche li polunu lo ipigeri obernin kebi lenche lo ha oho ka kola lo yalu nwalu tajelu ipole ebebe lo ewe Nigeria reku ai gomina noke tachriku kwa neke ku igementi nenche dudu loke hewe Nigeria kene ku aseta ku anoke mijewa mo igementi nehi yewe Nigeria ohoka ku ole lebebe lipigementi nenche yo aje yukebi ochelo jokpan nehi loke lokonu bela dudu loke wonyira kwoche leke siku Professor Wole Soyinka lohua mem lo onyira kwoche ha loke mo okoka enelu ewe Nigeria ke pano ngaleke siku South lohua Chief Edwin Clark ohoka waoka ku okela lo trefu yewe Nigeria Muhammadu Buhari biweche kene kenyolo okwini yigble enelu ke chelu aiflani mlena ke tayeye leke siku gazette ya ku elo biobine ku okpani Muhammadu Buhari kocho biobilo ngale fuko okela enelu Muhammadu Buhari biweche ikwene loke acho yukloka ki ocho likpe logigo meba siku Arise TV lo anoki oka ikwene lu Muhammadu Buhari ki oka ko Abubakar Malami loke wo trefu yo unepo ewe podini enelu aigbomina biwaje laje iwalu okokan dudu yewe Nigeria lo ko chika ego mai waki oka ko taye ya ena memla iflani ko biobi nehi oki oya lo ache ki iflani ki onmache unu ke hebebe udego buke wai usugwe ego ma wahoka ko chigatu aena anulo ifia oya ke boku ho ko jego buku ho anu waki obiwa lo ne ha idoma ala anyi obaje anogaje oka anolo ne lo ho ai onchi apliku lo ho anoge bi oka papa ge laladu ala anyi obaje ami lojo ka lo awa wechelo ufoni enchelo ho ndeka butu eje owechoko ho pala
God has given us victory.